going to answer you. However, I just realized I've had my side with a completely blank screen, and I want to rectify that for them. So I'm hoping that they can now see me over there. And if you cannot see me over there, I actually just, oh, that was the wrong thing to do. Can you go to H and D Abroad? If you cannot see my live stream, go to H and D Abroad and you'll be able to see it there. Ignore the last thing that I just put and try and join us over there. So I am sorry. Now, going back to your question, you cannot buy all companies. Well, you can if you had enough money. You can if you had enough money, right? Um, I I invest in individual companies, but I also invest in funds. And so, if you are an older person, or it doesn't matter, if you're older or not. The way to be able to have access and exposure to more companies is to buy funds. You buy index funds, you buy exchange traded funds. Those funds have all of those companies in it. So you get exposure to an Apple, a Microsoft, a Home Depot, all of those things without the expense of buying each of those companies individually. Uh-huh. Mhm. Absolutely. Okay, so if you want to Yahoo Finance is a good source for being able to look at companies, look at what they do, all that type thing. If you want the information about what those particular things are, I mentioned ETF, that's an exchange traded fund. By the way, you'll get some language here. I'm not going to give you all of the answers, but I'll give you the language for you to go ahead and do a little more research. It doesn't have to come from any one source. All you got to do is type this information into Google, period. That's it. It's going to bring you up many, many sources for you to be able to find out what those things are, what those things do, and the advantage to you getting involved with them. Um, Investopedia is actually a really good source. There's things like Motley Fool. There's a ton, and I wasn't prepared to give you that information. But I can actually send you a list of things that would help people. Sure, sure. Um, Seeking Alpha is also another good source for providing that type of information. Uh, Again, there's a bunch of different sources, and it depends on what. Let's have good education. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Elle. Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Um, the resources again are there. I'm glad she brought up that the larger brokerage houses are going to be your better bet at any age because they are going to have the resources and the people in place to answer questions for you. They'll have webinars all the time set up, and it's not just onesie twosie. There is a constant. There's a deluge of of things that you can go and learn what those things are, what those things do, right? If you've got any questions, you pick up the phone and call. They're there to answer. There are some smaller brokerages that allow people to invest, but they don't have the resources to support uh, that I would the level of support that I would want. And I don't know that I want to name them, but if a company is allowing you to buy one, two, three, that's not what you want, right? And by the way, the larger brokerages will allow you to buy things on your phone, but they have the resources and support behind it. Other companies, I'm gonna name them, okay, like Robinhood and like Webull to some degree, you want the larger brokerages, period. That's what you want so that you can educate yourself along the way. And by the way, when you're in those larger brokerages, they have families of funds, right, to do the exact thing that you're going to want to have done. I really hope that I'm getting this on the other side because I don't think I am at this point. I believe it's gone. No worries. No worries. Some of the calculators already have it built in. As a matter of fact, most of them do. And they'll have a bunch of different variables for you to say if you're going to be regularly investing, if there's a one-time amount that you're putting in, there'll be a bunch of different variables for you to look at how your money could possibly grow and things that you actually will need to consider along the way. Yes. Everything's going to be an estimate because you don't, things can happen, right? You don't, you, you could have a pandemic, you could have a downturn in the market, you could have a war. So everything's going to be an estimate, right? As a matter of fact, speaking of an estimate, they're in the larger brokerage for firms, they will tell you your money will last you for 30 years. Your money will last you for 22. There's going to be a shortfall. You're going to have an overflow, right? And so those are the type things that you want to get into your actual plan and start playing with, right? So that you can see, oh my goodness, annuities. Oh, annuities. I'm sorry, I see this question. What's your take on annuities? Um, Annuities are a bad word to me, but I know that quite a few people have them. I know folks will try and sell you those things or put you in those things, but what an annuity is, it locks your money up very badly. And it'll take, remember, I told you, well, I didn't tell you, a mutual fund and index fund, index fund and ETF, those are baskets of stocks. Okay, that's what a fund is, right? An annuity is a bucket of funds, right? The problem with that is that you have overlap and concentration of what you're invested in, and you also have an overlap of fees. There's a lot of fees involved. There's a lot of funds that get locked up for a certain period of time, and there the surrender charges to get your money out make it not worth it to be in them. I hope that you're not saying that because you are in them and that someone possibly is asking you to put your money in one, because she is about to, I don't know if she's already retired or I know that she was about to retire. If that is, someone is putting that as an option for you, uh-uh, uh-uh, I wouldn't do it. They're not, they don't provide the return that you could possibly have, and there are a lot of fees involved, and it will suck your money up if you're able to get to it. Sorry. My apologies. I'm sorry. I really, can we try and, if we can try and get mine involved here, because I got people over here that can't see and they're not seeing any of this or hearing it. Can you possibly give me a hint to what I am doing wrong here? Hmm. My goodness. I'm really sorry about this. For anyone that's on my side, on my channel, my apologies. I will make sure that their broadcast will get to my page so that you guys can get the information as well. My apologies. All right. Okay. What question did you have? I'm sorry. Mm. Yes, I will. And be abroad. 1 second. Yes. So you mentioned. Oh, good. You kept it up for me. 403 plans and insurance products. 403B plans are generally for civil workers, for teachers, for I think, for civil. Um, they are less regulated than 401k plans and 457. Yes. Okay. The problem, I'll say problem. Um, 403B plans generally have a lot of insurance products within them. And so insurance products, and by the way, I don't believe insurance is an investment vehicle. Please don't argue with me. That's my thoughts. And okay, quite a lot of black and brown folks are often um, sold insurance products now, because they're insurance products. An insurance product will they'll guarantee you 7%. You remember I told you the average stock market return annually is 10%. Okay. Now that's average. So there are funds that will do 15, 18, 22, 36%. So for those insurance products to guarantee you 5 to 7%, well, yeah, they can guarantee you. They're getting 22% off of it, and they're going to give you 5 to 6 to 7%. Because 403Bs are less regulated, they will have less resources, they have less products in those plans for you to diversify your money outside of those plans. Uh, I've always had a 401k. And I've even seen where a lot of 403Bs or some don't even match. So if you're contributing to those things and you're not getting the benefit of having or of being able to invest in other products, you're limiting yourself by what you have in that plan. You're limiting yourself. That plan is limiting you by the returns that those offerings have, and then the fees associated are just not, those fees eat away at your return. um that's all I got on that. I'm sorry. If you are. Mhm. All right, so if you're, I think you're saying you're 2 to 4 years away from retirement, and you have a 401k right now. So when people leave their companies, um, I'm gonna say a few things. So you can leave your money within your company. I said you can. I didn't tell you to do it. I said you can. Okay. So I'm gonna give you the example of my former company. Um, Two things. If your company in a 401k does a employer match, generally they're going to match you in company stock. So if that company stock is doing very well, that's great. But if your company stock is not doing so well, that's not good for you. Um, your company could go out of business, right? So that's why you want the safety of moving your money to another vehicle. And by the way, your plan, your 401k plan, only has a certain amount of options that you can invest in. And if they weren't good options to begin with, you don't want your money there. I'm not saying they are, but you'll have a larger pool to invest from if you take it over to an IRA. Now, you don't want them to send you, you don't want them to put it in your hand. That's when you will you do a rollover. Okay, you just do a 401k rollover to a traditional IRA. That's all you do, right? That doesn't touch your hand. The reason you don't want it touching your hand, and when I say hand, into your account, you don't want them to send the money to you, because if you do, you just took a distribution. And if you're not of age, if you're not at the right age, you're going to get a 10% penalty, right? Um, you want to do a rollover directly into an IRA. Okay. And once you're over in that other fund, you likely will, and no likely, you will have access to a bunch of other different investment vehicles, not vehicle, investment types, right? Investment options. Okay. So yeah, so now it is a non-taxable event if it don't touch your hand. If it touches your hand, you're going to get taxed and the penalty if you're not of age. Is this always true, or when is converting a bad idea? And by the way, some people actually forget. They like again. I'm a dinosaur. I worked for my company for 30 years. A lot of now people work 2 years here, 2 years there, all this stuff, and then they forget. I had a 401k at that company. It's been over there a long time, right? People forget their 401ks. They forget they have money at a particular company. That happens often. Okay. So no, it's not. Is this always true? No, it is not always true that it is a taxable event as long as you don't let it touch your hand. And it's no, I don't think it's a bad idea. Hmm. Got it. Ah, mhm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, people will say, I'm investing in my 401k. Your 401k is just, that's the holder, that's the account. That's not what you're actually invested in. It's when you choose the things that you're going to hold within that account. That's when you're actually investing. I'm sorry. I've upset quite a lot of people here. Um, Pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm almost done. A-D. Okay, there we go. Hit it. Go, please. Yes. Going back to what Herman said earlier, I'm sorry that happened to you and anyone else. I will give you the example, my example. Again, I retired from AT&T. If you knew anything about AT&T, AT&T did fairly well while I worked for them. If I had left my money, my 401k with AT&T providing me, again, a lot of the stock that they provided was company stock. Their stock has tanked. Okay, that's not that's not, and again, as you get older, you have less of a time horizon to be able to make that money up. So you want to be able to make sure that the company that you're in, that you're not overly invested in it, and that you're not leaving it in a company that may be in trouble at the time or while you're about to retire, right? Um, Unfortunately, people will tap their 401k along the way. Okay, thank you. Oh, God. Unfortunately, some people will tap their 401k and you're taking a penalty and you have opportunity cost that's lost now, right? Where you remember you said you had a that little bit of money, that little bit of money is going to could turn into a whole bunch of money, right? So you don't want to be pulling off of an account that is designed for you in your later years. Um, Once you are actually in, you have a 401k, you have a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, whatever. Once you get it in there, you need to find the things that are going to appreciate in value, right? You want capital appreciation, you want a growing fund. So, with the tools that we've mentioned earlier and some tools that we'll provide later, you'll be able to find out this fund is, you know, paying out or I'm sorry, has gained 22% over a 3-year period. This company's done 12%. Do I want 22 or 112? Guess which one I want? I want the 22. Okay. So you want your money working as hard as it possibly can for you while you're sitting here talking, while you're sitting here listening, while you're sleeping. Your money needs to be making money for you. If you're working, review your benefits every open enrollment period. Yes. Um, and I suggest that you don't wait till and I'm only saying 2 to 4 years because that's what the woman said earlier. You don't want to wait till you're 2 to 5 years out from retirement to say, let me look at my money. No, you, you review your money every quarter and see if you are performing the way you want to perform and if that money is going to pay for the lifestyle that you want to live in retirement. Um, Wealth building has a life cycle, right? It's like a bell curve, and so there is the base form. The base form is you're in protection mode, meaning you're just trying to make sure um, you have stable money coming in, that you have security with your money coming in. As you get up over there, 40 to 50s. Now 40 to 50s, this is the oh goodness, what is this phase? This is the accumulation phase. Okay. That 40 to 50-year old period, you're at your highest earning potential. Okay. I'm going to stop there for a minute. If you are at your highest earning potential in your 40s to 50s and you're not doing well there, what are you going to do when you start going down the other side when that is supposed to be your distribution of your wealth? Okay. So, in the money making time in your accumulation phase, you need to be accumulating. Okay. And you can only do a certain amount of that, but you can send your money out to do some of it for you as well. So that's what you need to be doing for yourself. Come on now. I want you to put some punctuation on what you just said. If just think about that thousand, people say, oh, if you take $1,000, I want you to think about $1,000, and I want you to think about a company like Apple. The growth of Apple, the growth of Microsoft, the growth of Home Depot, that $1,000 can be $100,000 or more. That's the opportunity cost that you miss out on when you're pulling off of your money. I have a pension and combined with 403b. It's growing but not fast enough. Should I transfer it over to another account? Okay, you're within that company. You've got to leave your money there while you're there. We were talking about when you leave your company. Um, that doesn't mean outside of your company you can't do some investing. You should. You should not just rely on your employee sponsored plan. And by the way, there's a lot of people that don't have, their employer doesn't provide one for them. So you need to be doing it outside of your company as well, right? Once you have your money outside of your company, you can do anything you want. There's some people, I don't think this is the case for a 403b. There's an option within a lot of 401ks it's called brokerage link. And what's the percentage? I think you could take up to, I think it was you could take up to 50 or 60% of your money in that fund and put it in brokerage link. It's still within your company plan, but that would allow you to have more options that were in your 401k plan. Okay. So again, if you are have a 403b with your company, all right, but I want you to also take and have you something outside of your company. I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't. Right. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have that level of education about a Roth within a 401k because that was never an option for me. Um, I don't know that, and I don't want to speak on something that I don't know about. I just don't. I will just say one thing I will say for sure is that some people don't invest within their 401k. If your company offers a match, please invest in your 401k. You can do something outside of it. And when I say a match, remember I told you my company offered an 80% match. So if I lay down $1, they gave me 80 cents. That's free money. Thank you. You take all of that. Right. So if they do not offer a match, that is when I would opt to do something outside of my company, because if I'm not getting a match, there's no benefit to me because you've limited me in the amount of things I could choose in that plan. It takes money. You ready? Yep. Yes. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about that whole thing though. So if you take money out of a 401k plan and is if one is of age, okay, so you don't have the penalty. You don't have that's the 10% penalty. But you're taking money that is for your retirement to pay off unsecured debt. Never a good idea for me. Never a good idea. Now, if you got a bunch of credit card debt, if it's um I don't know. I think I'd have to look at that situation honestly, but I don't know that I would ever do that. Um it is a distribution, so it's income, right? Taking off the top when the money is dispersed. I wouldn't do it because of the opportunity cost, and that's for me to pay off unsecured debt. That's just me. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you, Shisha, Evelyn, Sabongale, Shan. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm just that's right, Warren Buffett. That's my Uncle Buffy. If you don't find a way to make money, that's not well. You've got to find a way to make money while you sleep, right? Otherwise, you'll work for the rest of your life. Um, Another thing Uncle Buffy says, and he is my uncle. He says to, I want to get it right. He says to, he says to spend the money that you make after your investments. Don't invest the money that you have left from paying your bill. I got it wrong, but you pay yourself first. Period. That's what he said. Okay. Mm-mm. Backwards. Yep. Mhm. Absolutely. I've got two thoughts on real estate. So I told you I bought my first property. I bought my first property when I was 25. All right. I didn't. It wasn't a house though, right? I'm from the Midwest, and I bought what is called a two flat. A two flat for me, the one that I had, is a basement, first floor, second floor. Okay. I lived in one unit. I was blessed enough to be able to take care of my mother on another unit, and them good people upstairs paid for the building. Thank you. Right. That freed up my money that I was getting from my company for me to invest. Right. So then I bought another building just like that. That's a great way to make your money, to build your wealth. Okay. But let me say one other thing about homes. Some people are against people buying homes now. I am not necessarily against it. The reason I'm not is because when you own a single family home, you have a mortgage. A mortgage can be paid down or off. That's debt. That can be paid down or off. Okay. So as you're paying your mortgage down, you're growing, you're aging, right? As you're aging, and remember that life cycle, right? You have less, your income earning potential is going down. So if you pay your house off, you at least have a place to stay. You got to pay your water bill, you got to take care of your utilities, and you pay your taxes. If you done paid your house, if you're free and clear and you done paid your house off. If you are renting, okay, I'm gonna go back to a mortgage is a debt. Rent is an expense. You cannot pay an expense off. Expenses are ongoing, right? And expenses are going to go up because taxes are going to go up, water bills are going to go up. So I'm going to charge you more to rent because I'm not paying for it. You got to pay for it. I need to be able to. I need to be able to cover the cost of my property that you're renting. So I would say, no one own property in my. Okay, you make it happen then. Word up, make it happen. Uh, so I am not against owning a home. I am. It would be a better idea. Them good people paid for me and my family. I appreciate all my renters. Thank you. I love y'all. I really do. Right? Because them people paid my mortgage off and they gave me some spending money. They gave me some pocket change. I appreciate them for that. But if you cannot do that, consider if you're going to have enough money in your life ongoing to be able to pay an expense for the rest of your life, where your landlord, somebody like me, can say, it's time for your rent to go up. And I'm going to raise it again next year. And I'm going to raise it again next year. So consider that. It's not always a bad idea to own a home. That's just me. Now, I'm done. uh, that's again, that's subjective to the person. I would I pay? Do I want a free and clear house? You got to decide. You want to stay there forever, right? So, are you going to? And by the way, this is H&D abroad. Some of these people they're leaving. They're going to other countries. And by the way, for all the people that are in the U.S. and have not even thought of that as an idea, consider it. Life is good. Food is better. People are nice. Lifestyle can be different for you. Anyway, so just consider that. Now, if you're not going to stay in that house, if that's not your forever home and you going to stay there, then again, those are things you need to consider when you're deciding, do I want to be free and clear in this house? And if I pay this house off right now, am I going to be able to sell it if you need to? Okay. Um, if you are upside, there's a lot of variables to that. So again, that's something you have to consider for yourself. But the things that you need to consider is, are you going to stay there? Are you paying off your house in a market where your house is overvalued, right? And what is the opportunity cost for the money that you just took out of your retirement account? And what was the potential for that money to do on that side? So again, all of those things need to be considered. I hope you guys know I'm not a financial planner, right? All right. I'll tell you that. That's right. Are you entertained? Thank you, Yvette. Hey, Jennifer. Yeah. Cool. I want to come back to that. Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. Selling your home. I mean, so again, for people that are not, and I'm saying for people that don't know this, H&D abroad, their goal is to move out of the country. So some people decide they're going to move out of the country. Now, what if you go and find out you hate it, or it doesn't work out, or financially you can't afford to stay gone and you need to come back? Part of the reason I haven't sold my our primary home is because I don't want to buy it back. I bought it. I bought it down here. I'm not. If I come back, I'm not gonna buy it up here. I'm not doing that. Right. So in the meantime, somebody else could be paying for it. If I decide at later, all right, I'm never coming back, then I'll sell it. Well, hopefully the thing has continued to appreciate. Those are I don't. My first place, I sold 2 years ago. It was in a gentrified neighborhood, right? If I sold that thing 2 years ago, if I cannot go back and buy it right now. I cannot buy in the area because I can afford it. I don't want to pay that much money. I don't want to. So again, those are things that need to be considered when you're talking about property. I've made my money through real estate and paper assets, right? So I'm diversified in that way, but you cannot just say, I'm sorry, if it were me, there's more things that you need to consider when you're saying, all right, I'm done with this house. All right, you better be done with this house and that neighborhood and that price point as well. And exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah. And listen, the law changed this year. I'm gonna have to look over here because I don't want to get this wrong. Here we go, right here. I got a couple things that we haven't talked about. So there's a lot of things that have happened this year. You mentioned earlier one of the things that changed is companies more and more will be required to put you in your 401k. So you're going to be doing it whether you want to or not. It's a good thing, actually. Now, the 401k, all of these plans, the onus has been put on you to do your own investing, to invest for your own retirement. I'm gonna go to those things. Again, I'm a dinosaur. I had a pension with my company as well as a 401k. The employees of today, there are pensions. There are not very many pensions. A pension was where your company was required to put away money for your retirement and give you a gold watch when you retire. Okay. Now the onus is on you to save for your own retirement. And if you're not doing it, then what? And if there's a chance that Social Security will not be able to pay out at the same level that it has been paying, then what? Right? So you've got to take advantage of the plans that are available for you or the options that are available for you. And so if that's not an employer sponsored plan like a 401k or 403b, if it then you move on, there is a traditional IRA, there's a Roth IRA. If you are a an entrepreneur or a freelancer, there's a SEP IRA, there's a solo 401k, there's all simplified, right? Simple IRA, all of these different things that are available to you. She mentioned catch up funds. So that is for um, like and again, I'm going to have to refer to here. I don't want to screw it up. A 401k, the contribution limit is 23,000 now in 2024. It only went up $500, but it still went up. And if you are over 50, you can contribute an additional $7,000 in catch-up funds for the traditional IRA. Now, people get this confused with a Roth and a traditional IRA. You can put away $7,000 as the standard, yeah, as the standard savings. If you are over 50, you can put an additional $1,000 in catch up funds. So if you're 50, you can do $8,000. All right. Again, that went up by 500 bucks. If you have a simplified employee pension, that's a SEP IRA. That's designed for small business owners and self-employed employees. And it all, I'm not going through all that. Anyway, you can do generally 25% of your salary with a maximum limit of $69,000. It used to be 66,000 last year. That is the same thing for a solo 401k. You can do, the limits are 69,000 with 7,500 being catch up funds. So that's a total of 76.5. I am a simple IRA is not simple. There are a lot of rules, and I'm not going through them. Okay, so again, I'm giving you the language, and it is something that you can look into yourself. But I'll tell you basically, it is a plan designed for small businesses with 100 or fewer employees. Okay, all right. Now you can also use, this is not really a retirement account, but you can use it as one. HSA. Okay, your health savings. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Malika. Right. That's right. Tell them, girl. Tell them. And if you don't do, I mean, after all of those things, if you've reached some of those limits, right, and you still got extra money, and I'm saying that people have extra money, y'all, right? So if you funded your 401k to the max, you've done your Roth, you've done all these different things, you can also just have a regular taxable brokerage account, right? Again, it's taxable. The benefit to the other is that most of those are tax deferred, and I say most because those are the Roth is the one that is pre-tax, right? The others are designed for you to pay taxes in your later years when they used to think taxes would you would be at a lower in a lower tax bracket. But it depends on what your country is having to pay for. Oh, my goodness, I'm sorry. I also have to mention this. We're talking a lot about things that are available to people in the U.S. But if you are leaving the U.S., or if we've got other people that are not in the U.S. that listen to us, right? Uh, so, oh my goodness, hang in there with me. Where are you at? Where are you at? In other countries, there are options available to them as well. Yeah, here we go. So if you are in the UK, there is a SIP or pension, right? SIPP. There's also their IRA equivalent is an individual savings account, right? And then if you're in Canada, there's the RRSP, that's a registered retirement savings plan. And they also have a tax free savings account. If you are in Australia, they have the superannuation plan. So again, I'm giving you the language, and if those are areas that you're going to, you do the go the step further to do the forward work and find out what you need to do to be involved in those plans. One other thing you need to do is make sure they're going to be available to international investors. Okay. Now, again, you guys are HD abroad. And we talking about selling houses and all this kind of stuff. Before you leave the U.S., you better figure out where you want to be invested, okay? Because if you do not, if one of I'm gonna say the larger brokerage accounts of I'm sorry, larger brokerage companies, only because that's what I'm suggesting. I'm real sure the other ones don't do it. But if you leave, I'm sorry, I'm real sure the other ones, forget the other ones. Uh, if you, if one of those companies, when I say those companies, I'm talking about Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, T. Rowe Price. Those are the bigger ones. If they find out you are no longer in the U.S., they will liquidate your account. Okay, and you don't want somebody liquidating your 401k account while you're 53 because that's your penalty, right? You that's a penalty tax. You got your distribution, even though you didn't ask for it before you were of age. So consider that before you leave. So what you could do is make sure you keep an address that is in the U.S. and a bank account that's in the U.S. Otherwise, you will not have access to those accounts or those accounts. All right. I don't know anything about the other ones. Again, if you're in another country, that's some work for you to go and do. You just now you have the language to go and figure those things out. Are you in? Are you? Is it in service? Are you still working there? Or are you talking about after you leave? What do you? Yeah, but the other thing I'm saying is she's talking. I don't know what I'm sorry. I'm saying she poetry is mentioning a pension. Is it? Are you in service? Are you still at that company? Because if you are, you can't say, "Give me my money. Let me go." You can't do that. Yeah. That's when you have additional monies to put other places. You don't just depend on what your company is providing for you. You invest outside of that as well. Yeah, Tia's comment. Listen, that didn't happen to your account. That happened overall. Okay. And let me tell you how you make your where you make money. You don't make money in an up market. You make money in a down market. That's where it starts. So I don't remember what I saw. I think I saw positive 18 and negative 16%. Yeah. All right. So listen, um, we are actually last year was bad for everybody, right? And we are in the recovery stage right now. But let me show you what the market does. And I don't care. You can look at you can look at most individual companies, or you can look at the market as a whole. And this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna and by the way, listen, if you go to Yahoo Finance or somewhere and look at a chart of the market or an individual company, right? What you will see, and I'm doing, I hope I'm not in reverse doing this, but I'm gonna just tell you the way it goes. From the left side, you'll see that's how it goes. The market goes from left to right, right? So what happens is, and by the way, you saw I went up. I went up for a reason. Okay. So the market, it stair steps its way up. You'll see it go up, it pulls back. It goes up, it pulls back. It goes up, it pulls back. Up, pull back. All right. That is not today. That is not for a year. That is period. Okay. I said on average, the stock market returns between 8 to 12%. So we're going to go with 10. Okay. So on average, that's what it does. It pulls back, goes up, pulls back, goes up. All right. So when I told you that you make your money in down markets, when the pandemic hit March 2020, market went down. But guess what? There's something called dry powder. Dry powder is money on the side for opportunities just like that. That is how people, that is how the wealthy, that that's right. As long as you're buying good companies, as long as you're buying good companies. So when that stuff pulls down, people will run in and buy at that point because guess what? The stock market always does this. Always. You got to remember, more people are being born, more people are becoming, working. They're putting their money into the market. That's what's making it go up. Okay? Companies from the 1800s, companies from the 1800s have survived depressions, recessions, wars, pandemics, right? You want the good companies, not these crap companies. That's a legal term. About why Schwab would liquidate? Because of the real reason is because of uh, money laundering. They want to know if you're in a foreign country. Listen, we're thinking about it from the perspective of I live in this country, and then I'm going to leave this country. So that if I was a national of that country, and I decided to leave, what if money from outside of that country was coming into your country? You don't know why that international money is coming in. So to you, to them, that's international money. They don't care if you used to live here, right? They want to know why international money is being invested in their companies. A whole bunch of bad things can happen when foreign entities invest in, I'm not just talking about the US, in any country's assets. I could tank your market. I could take over your market. So they're going to limit the international money because you're international at that point coming into their country. That's the reason. They don't know the sources of that money either. Money laundering. That's right. What are the investment limits if you invest in both the 401k and 7,000, 8,000 if you're over 50? I think she meant to say Roth IRA. I'm sorry. If you invest in both the 401k and IRA, those are two separate buckets. So again, if it's your 401k, you can do 23,000 as a general, yeah, 23,000 as the standard contribution. But if you're over 50, you can do an additional $7,000. So that takes you to 30,000 in the 401k. But if it's an IRA, whether it's Roth or traditional, it's $7,000 combined. 7,000 if you're under 50, 8,000 if you're over 50 combined. People think I can do 7 and 7. No, you can't do that. Those are combined. Right. I said right because I'm trying. Yes. Yes. Okay. um, 1 minute. Hold on. Bulls make money. Bears make money. Pigs get slaughtered. That's the term. All right. So I own individual companies as well. E- oh, name account. What's he thought on taking some profit off the table? Okay, again, it depends on what your goals for that money was. When you invest something, and by the way, let me say something about investing that we should have said to begin with. Investing money, the money to be invested needs to be money you don't need, right? Because you could possibly lose it, right? It can't be that you're putting it in and I need it tomorrow. No, that's not an investment. You put that money in a savings account if you need to get to it, right? Money invested is supposed to be for midterm or sorry, midterm or long-term goals that you have. So what was that money allotted for? Was it for retirement? Was it for a car? Was it for a house? Whatever the case. Now you're taking money off the table, but what did you put the money in there for? Did it reach the goals that you wanted that money to reach? And by the way, there's something else we didn't mention, and that's dividends. Okay. So some companies, when they make profit, they will pay out. They can take the profit and put it back into the business. They can do research and development. They can, use it for products, whatever. They put it back into the business, or they can also take a portion of it and pay their shareholders. Okay. So now you're saying take some money off the table. You could take money off the table if it's reached your goal. That money was for a particular thing. Now, there's a difference between trading and investing. If you're taking money off the table, uh, investing is more long term. You can trade. Trading doesn't have to be day trading or swing trading. Trading can be I bought a company and I'm going to hold this company for 5 years or whatever. Give me that back. Thank you. Or it's reached its peak. And by the way, this also is related to timing the market. You want to take some off the table. Why? Because you think it's going to fall again, right? And- oh, you also said something earlier. You said that a lot of people lost money in 2020. You didn't lose any money until you sell. You have not made any money or lost any money until you sell that asset. Period. The value of it may have gone down, but you didn't lose any money. You still have right. Exactly. They're just not worth as much as they were worth at that other time. Okay. So yeah. So if you're going, sometimes I will buy something, hold it for a period of time, and I may take some money off the table, which is what she, because you got a woman for your thing, is speaking of. Um, Now you could take that money off the table and put it into another opportunity, another investment. If you have something that's underperforming, don't just underperform for an extended period of time. If it's underperforming, sometimes you may have to take a loss. Take the loss and put it in something that's going to give you better opportunity to make uh, a better gain, more money on another side. So, yeah, you're right. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Sometimes you do want to take profit off the table, but I want to ask you this. If you owned Microsoft or Apple, or I ain't putting that in there, or some company like that, do you want to take money off the table? Because you remember, if some companies, if they're paying you dividends, they're giving you more shares of, well, I'm sorry, they're giving you more money, and you could either take that money and buy more shares of that company. You could take some of that money and buy another company, or you can take that money and go spend it. That's opportunity cost, though, right? I am never selling Microsoft. No, I ain't doing it. Because them people send me a nice check every 3 months. Not selling Apple, not selling Home Depot, right? Again, you've got to decide what that money was for. If you've reached your goals, grab it. But that's dependent on every individual deciding what they needed to do for that money. Oh, okay. And have my retirement direct deposited into a Schwab account and leave. They know my source of fund. Okay, but in that case, you have kept a U.S. account, a bank account. Remember, you're not. I'm saying you have got to keep some U.S. presence, right? That's what I mean. They won't just liquidate your account if I still have US bank accounts. I still have US phone numbers. They're not going to liquidate my account. But if you say I'm shutting down everything, well, they're going to shut down your retirement account too. Or your investment account with them, right? Because you no longer have presence in that country. That's what I meant. I hope I made myself um, a little more clear. Right. Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing? If you guys have not been convinced to start investing or be more diligent about your investing, I want you to think about what you're doing with your money. I want to know from you if the shoes that you buy, they cute, but are they going to take care of you later? If the purses that you buy, are they going to take care of you later? I'm not just going to pick on the women. If them Nikes you buying, are they going to take care of you later? Those are the things that you should be thinking about, whether about where you put your money. Your money should be making money for you, not to just make money, to take care of the things that you gonna need for yourself, you're gonna need for your kids, you're gonna need for your life, right? Tell it, D. I'm gonna see them in a minute. I'm gonna see you in a minute. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Mhm. That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. 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 They ain't gonna be empty. That's right. Yeah. I am. I am. Yeah. So, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can actually book time with me. I have a Calendly link there where you can. There's a course that's available. There's you can book one-on-one time with me in half hour to hour segments, And I'm actually going to do something this year. I'm going to open up a brokerage account and use that broker. And by the way, I'm going to put a small amount of money in it. I don't know if I'm going to do either 10 or 20 bucks every 2 weeks. I'm going to do it as if I'm working, right? So that people can do this, go along, do the same thing, and see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to, I'm publicly going to review this thing every month, or maybe every month, every quarter, something like that, just to show you the growth that you're missing out on. That those pairs of shoes could have been for you, right? And what happens at the end of the year, okay? Um, Other than that, my channel is actually changing, and I within a few days, my channel is going to change very drastically, and I'm excited about the changes. When you look at my videos, they're not great, but the information is good. But my video is about to be great. You hear me? Anyway, so go ahead and visit me over there. Yes. Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great. Okay, we'll do. Thank you. 1 second. 1 second. Thank you.